Howdy, partners. How's everyone doing out there in YouTube land? I want to do a little shout out to my old buddy, Richard Riley, making a video for you, buddy. We can do the old ZZ Top, throw that in here. And, Richard had done a video yesterday, I think it was, and he was talking about these ZZ Top records. And how he bought one and it wasn't very good, kind of sucked. And so, Richard, you're supposed to watch my videos. I've already covered this. Apparently you must have forgotten, but I know you don't forget to watch my videos. Of course it was, I don't know how many, 3-4 years ago. Anywho, so I'm going to put a link. If you don't know Richard Riley, you don't watch his videos, I'm going to put a link to his channel underneath in the description, so for y'all, so you can go down there and subscribe to Richard. I'll go down to his channel and subscribe to him for me. I appreciate that. Now, this was one of the records that was in question. And Richard, you notice this silver sticker right here? RTI? Yeah. Yours doesn't have that, does it? No, it doesn't. Does it have this kind of a loose bag on there? No. And you know what it says on this other sticker? Cut from the original analog master tapes, packaged, replicated to the finest detail, pressed with more care than ever. And these are very, very thick covers. They're almost as thick or thicker than the original. And it's 180 gram vinyl, black vinyl, pressed at RTI. And now I before I made the video, I decided I would watch that old video that I made. And in that video, I've got my original Blue London label. And I compared both of them. And this one sounded better. Now I did tell everyone in that video that this record is not real dynamic. It's not as dynamic as the Greylow or Trey's Hombres. It doesn't have that big dynamic range on it. But it was still better than the original press. So, and I looked around, at some of the, everybody's out of print, out of stock on this record. But you know how it is. If you look around, you can find some. But if you've got a Blue London label and you're happy with it, that's great. But those new ones now, the reason we're talking about it, they've got, what is it, Rhino, they're coming out with 2019, they're coming out with these, and I saw on one, it was on eBay, the guy was describing the record and it said DDD on it. So to me that means it's a digital record. And every site I went and looked at, nobody said where it's pressed. They didn't talk about the record at all. They're just talking about ZZ Top on there. And we all know when they're proud of what they're doing, they're putting the nice big RTI sticker on here. They're saying it's from the analog, right from the analog tape. When they're proud of it, they put stickers all over them. And they're proud to say what it is. So, okay, we covered that. The next one up is the Greylow I've got here, and you see it's the same thing. It's got the RTI sticker on here and cut from the original analog master tapes. And this one here, it's got the top. No, originally, I think original first edition US press had this. But I bought it in Canada as a first press, and I bought it in '79. And this is the way I got it, with this cover, as most of you probably had the same one. And this one again, this is on its kind of own label. That's the way it came out on that label. And now this record, I guess it's on the back of here. No, it's not. Got to find the lyrics or the song. It's not on any of this. It's crazy. I'm a fool for your stockings. That is phenomenal sounding on this record. And of course it's got cheap sunglasses on it. But This one now, this is Chris Bellman has mastered this. Okay, Chris Bellman mastered this one. And, excuse me now, Chris Bellman, he mastered this as well. Okay, so, and this is probably, this ZZ Top record now, this is probably one of the best sounding records in my whole collection. This thing is phenomenal sounding, really, really dynamic. Wonderful sounding record. It's just, so Chris Bellman did a great job on this, and he did that one probably at the same time. It's just that the tape wasn't as good. This is 79. That's 70. The other one is 72. And of course, you know, ZZ Top wasn't a big band yet, because it wasn't until Trey's Hombres came out in 73 that they really started selling a lot of records. So remember now, if you are going, there's so much stuff in this record, it's unbelievable. If you're trying to find a copy of this, this is the one you need to hunt for. And if they're hard to get now, these have been out of print for a while. But those new reissues, they don't sound nowhere near as good as this. As far as I'm going on the forums and looking around, that's what I'm finding out. And of course, Richard himself can attest to it. Again, here we have the same thing. I bought it at the same time. It's got that sticker on it. Now they reissued, I was looking up, they had reissued a lot of records when they were doing this Rocktober or whatever they're calling it. And Joni Mitchell Blue has been reissued too again. But if you can find the Joni Mitchells with that silver sticker on there like that, I think Richard said you bought Court and Spark with that RTI sticker on there. You're going to love that record, Richard. It's phenomenal. Court and Spark, Joni Mitchell. If you can, Richard found one. I think he said he paid $17 for it. They're still out there. It's one of the best sounding records you're ever going to find. Okay. Now here's Trey's Hombres. This is the same thing now. This is the way this record came. Had the, upside down one. Had the RTI sticker on there, but now the difference between these two and why I have this out here is because Kevin Gray and Steve Hoffman, they remastered this record. And if you look in the dead wax, I looked on the dead wax on this record and on this record, because we know for sure that they remastered this, and it's their same K, G, Steve, S, H, and then they put Acoustic in there. It's the same signature. So, and I know from the Hoffman forums they said that Steve Hoffman had remastered this. So Richard, here's the inside of the gatefold for having supper, and I can do you one better. I've got the Japanese insert with the lyrics and the poster of lunch. And then on this record you got, this used to be like the inner sleeve used to be, so they've just made an insert out of it. But now, again, if you can find this record, and I saw some on eBay yesterday, there's a couple out there right now, I think about 3 of them, with this silver RTI sticker. Go buy them now. This is a great sounding record. You know what? There's another thing too. I was reading on the forums. They've got one now, a new one that's on green vinyl, and it's the same stampers as the Steve Hoffman Kevin Gray, and the boys say it sounds great. So it's one of the new records, but it's on the green vinyl. And it's the same stamper as this, so you can pick that up as well. Okay, so now we're getting out of the Rhinos, and we're into El Loco. This is an old Canadian press. on the Warner Brothers label. That's the next one on the list. And I think this is what, 1981. Then Eliminator is from 83. And we all are pretty familiar with all this stuff. Give Me All Your Lovin', Sharp Dressed Man, TV Dinners, Legs. There's a lot of hits off this. And a lot of good guitar work. This is ZZ Top was still swinging here with this record. And what do they got for an insert in here? Their car. And the lyric sheet, of course. And being a Japanese original, sounds nice. Better than, the the Canadian domestic that I had before. They don't have a Rhino of any of these later ones. And again, now this is a I saw it before. 85. I still like this Afterburner. I think it's a good record. I like it. And it comes in a black inner sleeve, and I've got a nice, it's polyline. It's probably got the cool label on there. It's nice. And this is a good record too. Sleeping Bag, Stages, Woke Up, Rough Boy, Velcro Fly, a lot of good stuff. I haven't listened to this record in years, but it's worth a spin. And I do have my stereo set up, and I've been messing around with the speakers, trying to get that image to get right in the center and focus. I've been messing around with it. I'm going to probably do a room tour video later today. Now we have, this is 1990. Recycler. And now we're into digital records, I do believe. Because this one here, the sound on it is not as good as the rest of them. But it's still, ZZ Top. Cool record to have. I think it's fairly uncommon being 1990. There, who was buying records in 1990 besides Richard Riley and myself? Yeah, there was hardly anybody buying records back then. But I bought this one. I still got it. Okay, so I did want to talk about a couple other things while I still got a few minutes. This Alice in Chains record right here on Music on Vinyl. If you want a record that puts you in the front row center of an audience of a live thing where they've got a great sound system too, this is the record. Man, I'm not a big fan of those old live records because it was always in those big arenas and it sounded horrible in most of those. But this was on that MTV on their set, and they recorded this live record like you are there. It's phenomenal. Love it. And a lot of great songs on there. Okay, had a fella ask me about, Ron, let me see your Budgie records. Well, I must have had 7, 8 Budgie records at least. They're all gone. But you know what I got? Budgie Squawk. Yeah, this is my original Budgie Squawk that I bought when I was 17 years old on the Cap label. Bought this in Canada. I was still in high school when I bought this record. This is the record that I bought when I was... And under this light, it looks minty, but I know under the bright light it can't be. Because I've had this record from almost my whole life. Made in Canada. MCA. Cap record label. You don't see that one very often. That's a pretty rare label right there. But this is a fantastic record, and it's been reissued, and I was looking at getting one. because the cover, of course, you know, back in the day they didn't have outer sleeves and all these fancy stuff. You just had it sticking in your record collection. And the next one up on the list, before I run out of time, Jazz at the Pawn Shop. If you all don't know about this record, this is Porpheus Records. Let's just open it up. And this is the original right here that I got. I bought it at a hi-fi shop. Yeah. Porpheus. It's a live recording of a jazz. It's reportedly to be probably one of the best ever sounding records ever made. Jazz at the Pawn Shop. And thanks for watching, partners. See you later. Bye-bye.